Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I hope all of you are doing well. Today's video is an exciting one. It is an update in my Pan Those Eyeshadows Project Pan. This is my fourth update already, which I was just shocked, I guess, by in my Project Pan update, and I remain a little shocked that we are already in May and that this is my fourth update in this project already. It's so crazy, but it's another exciting one. Not only am I rolling in a new shade, but the reason that I'm rolling in a new shade is because I hit another pan. So super excited to share that with you guys. But just to kind of set the stage, if you're unfamiliar with this project, basically I select 5 eyeshadows randomly from my collection, which is super fun to do, like the random selection of the eyeshadows, and then I work on them until I hit pan or until I use them 20 times. And if I think that like pan is not in the near future, or it's just a really tough shade to work on, or whatever, it's kind of up to my discretion, I can roll it out at 20 uses. So I've hit a few pans already, and I've rolled one shade out when I hit 20 uses. But like I said, today I'm rolling out a shade because I hit pan, which is super exciting. I love to be able to share that with you. And yeah, we'll go through the shadows, we'll pick a new shadow out. But before we do that, I actually track all of my numbers in a spreadsheet. It's super scientific over here, but I think sharing those numbers is super fun, and we get to see the pan percentage in my eyeshadow collection increase as I hit more pans. So that's always really cool too. So I have 204 eyeshadows in my collection. 17 of them are single shadows, and then 187 of them are throughout 11 different palettes. I upped my eyeshadows that I've hit pan on from 17 to 18 this past month, which ups my pan percentage from 8.33% to 8.82%, which is super exciting. And that means I have a total of 186 eligible eyeshadows to choose from when I'm rolling in a new one. But going back to that pan percentage, we are very close to 9%. And my goal by the end of this year is to hit 10%, which you might think would be super easy, but I'm giving myself like an easy goal because I don't know if I'm gonna bring new eyeshadows into my collection. And if I bring a bunch of new eyeshadows in my collection, obviously my pan percentage is going to go down. So I'm just keeping that in mind as I continue to hit pan on this project. I might bring in some new ones. Although since I've started, I haven't brought in any new eyeshadows. So I think that's obviously a good thing, and one of the reasons why I do this project is because it makes me realize how much I already have and how long it takes to even make a dent on some of these eyeshadows. So with all of that being said, let's roll into talking about what eyeshadows are actually gonna still stick around and be in my quintet. I'm gonna start with my Alamar Spanglish palette. I have been very consistently working on this shade right here called Moi Excited. I used it 15 times this past month, and I feel like the pan does not look like I used it at all, which is super disappointing. I feel like I use this so much. I use it pretty much every day that I'm wearing eyeshadow in my crease. I mix it with this brown shade here, and actually I feel like there's more like usage apparent on the brown shade than there is on the shade that I'm actually working on, which is a little frustrating to be honest, but there is a dent going on. I can see it. I know it's happening. I just gotta keep chugging through. Like I said, it's super easy. Most of the time I throw it in my crease with that brown shade. Sometimes I wear it all over my eye. A lot of times it's what I'm dragging along my lower lash line. So it's been a super consistent one in this project. Like I said, 15 uses this month. I think we'll get there eventually, but I think this is just a really tightly packed shadow, and so it's just gonna take me a long time, but we're gonna keep working on that one. It's been raining a lot, and so I feel like the cars are noisier when they're driving through the rain, so I apologize if you can hear it. And I guess that's also to say, like, if the lighting's weird, it's because it's pretty dreary out right now. But anyways, next shadow comes from my ColourPop So Jaded palette. I've been working on the shade Sapphire, which in the pan it looks like a dark blue, but really on the eye it comes across a little lighter. This one I've talked about a bunch. I won't really get into it in this video. I feel like we've already covered it. I don't really love this shadow. I feel like it's super patchy. I really wish it looked more like the shadow in the pan versus like this lighter blue. I'm actually wearing it today in my outer corner. I like the look that I came up with today actually, so maybe I'll be able to use it more like this, but honestly, this past month, I only wore this shade 5 times, and other than today's look and then the look that I did the last update video where I did a look with like all the shades, which I try to do in every update video, I just wore it as liner. So not a ton to say there, but I am gonna continue working on this. I think this is gonna be one that I roll out when I hit 20 uses, to be perfectly honest, because it's one that I'm not having a ton of fun with. Next is from my Jaclyn Hill Morphe Volume 2 palette. It is the shade Positivity, so this really bright coral shade. I have this on the center of my lid today, and I really do like this shade. I just feel like it's hard to wear. I'm back in the office 3 days a week, so I feel like it's just a really bright shade to wear to the office. And the other weekend, I went out with my friend and her son and brought my son too. And I went to my parents first because where I was meeting her is really close to where my parents live. And my dad was like, "Why do you have orange all over your eye?" And I was like, "It's my eye makeup." And he was like, "Yeah, but why would you want your eye to be orange?" And I was like, "Oh." And so I was like, "You just don't understand, don't worry about it." But it was one of those things where I'm like, yeah, definitely can't wear this to work because people that I'm working with will be thinking the same thing my father is, of like, why is there orange all over your eyes? So it makes it a little bit more challenging. I was able to use it today in the center of this like look, and I really do like, I'm enjoying how this eye makeup looks, but I'm not sure like it's something I would wear to work. So this one's just moving a little slower. I only used this 3 times this past month, so not a ton. Progress nonetheless. 3 times is better than 0 times. At least that's what I'm telling myself. Next is my Kiko Milano eyeshadow in the shade 200. So descriptive. It's this beautiful single eyeshadow. I'm obsessed with it. I'm so happy I moved it into this project. I used it 14 times this past month, and it's been, speaking of work stuff, it's been amazing for work because it's just a super neutral shimmery shade. And so really, for most of my work looks recently, I've just been doing Muy Excited in the crease and then Kiko Milano 200 all over the lid with maybe a little bit of liner here and there, and that's pretty much that. So love this. So glad I rolled this in because I've really been able to make it work for my office looks. But more than that, like I pretty much like just love wearing it all the time. Like this is what I'm wearing in the inner part of this look that I have on today. Like it's just such a beautiful shade. So big fan of that. And I use that, if I didn't mention already, I used that 14 times this month. So obviously got a lot of usage out of it. So happy it's in this project. Okay, and now let's talk about the shade that I hit pan on, which is so exciting. So it comes from the Jaclyn Hill Morphe Volume 2 palette, and it is the shade right here called Crayon Apple. And I only had to use this 5 more times this month to hit pan because I had been working really hard on it in previous months to get it to this point. So 5 uses got us over the finish line, and now I have pan in this, which I'm super excited. I wore this a lot in my outer corner. I wore this on the lower lash line. I wore this all over the lid a bunch of times. So just kind of used it in every way possible, I feel like, to get us to where we needed to go. So happy that I had it in this project, but also so happy that it's been rolled out and I get to roll something in its place. So here's kind of where we're leaving it. These are the 4 that are staying in. We're rolling Crayon Apple out, and then we're gonna get my phone and do the like randomizer app, and then we're gonna select a new one from my collection to roll into this project. So we're gonna randomize right now. And 188 is the number that we selected. So that comes again from our Morphe Jaclyn Hill palette. I feel like we always just select the same palettes over and over again, but there's nothing I can do about it. I'm choosing the randomizer app, but I'm actually so excited about the shade. It is Flawed and Odd. I don't think I ever used this shade. It looks like it's never been touched, but I think it's going to be a beautiful shade to work with. It's like a shimmery orange shade. It looks a little bit more orange in the swatch than I thought maybe it was, just like looking at it in the pan. But I think this could be like a really good like all over the lid shade, or doing some sort of mix and match with the Kiko Milano shade. So really excited to have another shimmery shade in my quintet. I will say this is a lot of color, but it's a really fun color story for spring, so I'm super excited about that. And so this is what we're going to be working on. I'm actually going to use these 5 shades to create a look tomorrow, and I will film that and put it in so you can see how all 5 shades work together. So we are actually going to cut to that part of the video right now. Hi, so it's a couple days later. I wanted to film this the following day, but you know, life happens and here we are. But I am so excited because we are going to use all 5 shades on my eyes. I don't have any other makeup on right now other than some eyelid primer. So going to do the look first and then put the rest of my face makeup on because I wasn't sure if this was gonna get messy or anything. So figured I'd rather be safe than sorry. I have no idea really what I'm gonna do, but I think we're gonna just do some experimenting here and see if we can come up with a look that we like. So I'm gonna start off actually by pulling in some of this Positivity shade, and I'm going to be mixing that with my Muy Excited shade, and I'm gonna be putting this into the crease. So it's gonna be a little bit of a bright crease shade, but that is okay. We're going to have fun with it today. That's actually the first time I've ever done that combination, like in my crease. And although it's bright, I'm actually kind of loving the color that it created and the combination. So I'm not mad at this. All right, so crease is done. And the nice part is I was able to use 2 shades to get this color combo, which I'm quite happy with, like I said. So next I'm going to pull in my Kiko Milano eyeshadow in the shade 200. And I'm just gonna pick this up on my finger and place this in the inner half of my lid. I feel like I'm a broken record saying this, but I am literally obsessed with that shade. So happy it's in this project. And next I'm gonna pick up my newest shade, which is Flawed and Odd. I'm gonna pick that up on my finger as well. And I'm gonna put this on the outer half of my lid. Okay, and now I'm gonna spend some time blending because obviously there's a pretty stark line there. So I'm just going to be blending between those 2 shades and then blending up into my crease for a little while now. All right, and then the last shade we have to use is my Sapphire shade from this ColourPop palette. And what I think I'm actually gonna do is just line my lid with this shade and then pull it out a little bit. I'm gonna be a little bit messy here because I'm gonna clean everything up with a Q-tip before I put the rest of my makeup on, so I'm not really worried about it looking perfect as I'm applying the shade. Okay, so eyeliner is on and then I cleaned it up a little bit with a Q-tip. It's not perfect, but I'm not really that worried about it. And now I'm gonna add some black liner to my waterline, and then I'm going to pick up Muy Excited again on just like a little tiny brush like this, and I am going to smudge that along my lower lash line and just smudge out the black liner as well. Okay, so this is the eye look. I'm actually pretty pleased with it considering I was using every single shade, which normally I probably wouldn't do. So happy with how it turned out. I'm gonna go ahead and put the rest of my makeup on and then I will be back to close this out. I just put on the rest of my makeup, so this is the final look of using all 5 eyeshadow shades. I am actually very pleased with how it turned out. I feel like I thought it was going to be a little harder than it was this time to use all 5 shades, so I'm happy with how this looks. I feel like this is still pretty neutral and maybe something I could even wear to work. So super nice to be able to use all 5 shades there and come up with something that is more versatile than I thought maybe it would be. So very happy about that. I hope you enjoyed this video, getting to see the update, getting to see what shade I hit pan on and the new shade I rolled in. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you are all doing well and staying safe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.